Yeah, we'll do that after.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hello everyone. I think we should be live. My phone won't actually show me anything, which is nice. So while I try, oh yeah, it's on now. So let me just see if we're here. Yes, we are. All seems to be working. Awesome. So welcome to Crush It With Confidence episode 9. If you're here live, hashtag live. If you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. I'm at my parents' house in Germany. It's boiling hot. So if I look like a hot mess, that would be why. Let me know that you can see and hear us if you do come on live, just so we know it's all working. I know the internet can be a bit sketchy sometimes in the countryside. So all seems good so far. As always, remember to ask questions. We're talking about a really interesting topic today. If there's something that you don't know, don't understand, want to know more about, that's why we have people coming on every day to share, every week to share their expertise with us. So feel free to give us a shout, even if it's after our session is finished. We're always there to kind of share what we know and help each other out. So we can't do that if nobody shares their questions. And if you have any really big aha moments, do let us know, because sometimes, you know, we're so used to talking about the things we talk about and we don't realize that the way we said something really made something click for you. So, so if you have like a really big light bulb moment, let us know. It's already July, which means the first 6 months of this year are over. This is absolutely crazy. A new month, new quarter, and we're starting things off with talking about all things money. So we're talking about making money as well as looking after your money this month, because it doesn't help if you make loads of it and then you lose it along the way. So that happens to me an awful lot. It's like, hey, I made some money. Where is it gone? So that's going to be an interesting topic for me. So we're kicking off this month by talking to the wonderful Roota today about all things Instagram, which I am super excited about. I love Instagram. I love the different, you know, being able to look at pictures makes a nice break from having to read stuff all the time. But then I'm like, hey, I am not using it to my advantage to the extent where I could, and I know loads of other people are in the same boat. Great, there's some really noisy dogs kicking off outside. So I'm really excited to hear more about what we should be doing to, first of all, use Instagram for our business, but also actually use it to make money, because there's one thing, and then making money from that is another. So Roota is a software engineer turned digital marketer. Quite the change. Ooh, freedom. She prides herself in experimenting with Instagram and Facebook ads and to find creative ways to grow your impact and income online. She currently has how many followers on Instagram?
10,200.
So that means everyone's always really excited. I think for months I did not understand why people kept banging on about having 10,000 followers on Instagram, and then I realized, oh, you get that lovely little swipe up feature when you have 10,000 followers. I'm like, see, I didn't know that aha moment. So the thing is, her followers actually engage with her and actually buy her stuff. So there's one thing having a bunch of followers, and then there's one thing having a bunch of followers that are actually your ideal client. And that's where I think a lot of us kind of go wrong. So with all of that said, over to Roota. Roota, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about what you actually do, like on a day-to-day basis, and how you help people?
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Roota, and thank you so much, Jessica, for having me. I love doing Instagram. I'm on the app all the time, and I would love any opportunity to share what's working for me with you guys. So I have a Facebook ads and funnels agency. So I have clients, I have a Facebook like that. And I also love doing Instagram. So I have a bunch of courses too for my audience. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because every one of us knows, I think, how to get clients, but how to get course sales, because I was also someone who would launch a course, do cricket, and then get depressed. And that cycle went on and on for like the full past year, and somehow Instagram clicked for me. And I was trying to do everything that all the other gurus told me. Open a Facebook group, do this, do that. So all of those things I did, they were not working for me. So I think that it really is important in business to find what works for us and then pursue that. And today I want to show you how Instagram can be your thing too, where you can get a lot of people following you, engaging with you, buying from you, and not just launch to crickets. Hey yeah.
that also, I want all of that. Like, I'm totally game for it. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so bad. Yeah, but I think Instagram can be the savior for you guys as it was for me. So yeah, so kind of that is what I do. And I recently hit 10,000 followers just a couple of days ago. So it's really exciting because you get the swipe up feature. So you get to post a bunch of links. Suppose you pre-frame, you send them to your offer, to your course, to your sales page, to your video, to the new blog post that you created. So an amazing way to actually engage with your audience and warm them up, prime them before they can actually buy from you. And I feel like, sorry, we talk a lot about funnels and ads and stuff, but then how do people see the real you? Because people connect to people connect to the story, the behind the scenes, the vulnerable stuff. So even though you have a funnel, you need social media to supplement it. And with Facebook, here's the thing too, why I think you guys should choose Instagram, because you cannot post 10 times a day on Facebook, because if you do that, people will think you crazy and will legit block you. Seriously, try doing that. And you can totally get away with doing that on Instagram. You can put a lot of stories, a lot of posts, a lot of IGTV videos and Instagram lives that you can do, and people choose to follow you. People choose to enter into your own reality show. So you can absolutely get away with doing it. You can post a story so many times a day, show the behind the scenes. I think all the successful entrepreneurs I see, everyone, even Russell Brunson, Alex Sharfin, I know Julie has started doing it recently, show the behind the scenes, and it's such a nice way to connect to the people that you want to follow.
So I think that's like the main difference for people to understand. So what kind of content, what would you even go out and post on Instagram versus posting it on Facebook? I think it's important that you mentioned the kind of reality TV show approach, but I think most people's immediate reaction is, but my life is so boring.
Yeah.
What do I even go and post? Like, I don't have fancy breakfasts. I don't work in fancy cafes. I don't, I hang out with the baby, and then whenever he's quiet for 5 minutes, I grab my laptop, or, how do we decide what actually goes out on Instagram?
Absolutely. I think that's a really good question. And let me tell you, I used to think the same things when I had like, 400 followers 3 months back. So, I was thinking the same thing. I don't have anything to say. Like before, when I was not married, I used to travel all the time, have all these amazing pictures, eat amazing food, meet new people. My life was exciting, but now that I'm married, I want to be with my husband, spend time with him, stay at home, do all the household chores. So it's not exciting or glamorous. Absolutely. And I think we are not the kind of people who are like brands or influencers or celebrities like Kardashians, so we don't have that glamorous life. We're just entrepreneurs working at our laptop for 10 to 12 hours a day. So what do we actually say? And I've come up with a formula, and this is like growing your personal brand on Instagram. You are growing your own personal brand. So what I do usually is I want to tell you how I approach it, and I'm an entrepreneur, so you guys can exactly do the same. So I basically, I choose a day, and I usually choose Sunday, because I don't subscribe to the mentality that you got to take a picture, edit it, and post it on Instagram ASAP. Like, you can do that with stories, but with posts it's really difficult. So what I do is I batch content, so that, I don't have to be stressed every day that, oh my god, what do I even post every single day? This is so frustrating and annoying. So I choose Sunday, I sit down for 2 hours, I batch edit all of my images, and let me tell you this, with personal branding, I think you do need a photo shoot. But I'm sure every one of us has a photo shoot done for professional pictures, so you can actually go ahead and use them, edit them, batch edit them, and then put into a scheduler called later.com, and then, put out a week's content or 2 weeks content. I don't recommend, doing 2-3 months of content, because that really, it's like really old when you post it, and it's not even happening right now, and it's just not cool. So, and also it's really overwhelming to post 3 months of content. So I always just do 7 to 10 days of content, sit down, and then now you'll be asking, okay, what do I post though? So with pictures, I told you, yes, absolutely. I think Instagram is all about pictures, so you do need good pictures. I've been using pictures of my own branded photo shoot. Thankfully, I did a lot of pictures, so I can, keep using them. And then so if you think that, okay, you traveled to some amazing place and you just posted a couple of pictures and then you forgot about it, that's not the way. Like, you can use those travel pictures again and again, even though you can do throwbacks. Like 1 year ago, 2 months ago, 5 months ago, you traveled somewhere nice and of course, we take a bunch of pictures. So keep using them, keep bringing them to the feed. Like, not the same picture, but different pictures of the same journey. So this is how you get photos. And then what I really, really love doing is creating 1-minute videos, teaching something really small but nice, or maybe creating a 1-minute motivating video that people want to hear. So that goes on the video format. And with the new IGTV where you can upload longer form videos, I think you can just go crazy with it. Just like you're using YouTube and, creating tutorials, creating stuff which your audience wants to hear. And another thing I really love about Instagram is you can poll your audience in the stories and you can ask them what they want to hear and then create content like that. So you don't need to be just, this is not like emails or Facebook where you are like, okay, but what should I post? Here you can actually ask your audience what they want to learn from you, what they want to see more. You can do a segment and then take a poll like, oh my God, okay, so let me show you the behind the scenes of today. I recently did, like last month or so, a day in my life kind of a vlog, but not on YouTube, on Instagram stories. So I showed them all the aspects of my life, the day-to-day things that I do in my house, in my business, and my life. And people loved it. I mean, the response was overwhelming. We think our life is boring, but I think to some other people, it's not as boring. And also in between, if you put some entertaining content and teach them, it's really fun. Like Casey Neistat's content is not entertaining in the usual sense. It's just visually so appealing and it sounds so fun. And usually he's just going to the Nike store and buying shoes or buying new camera, and still he makes a vlog out of that thing. Like, do we have a vlog about going to buy a shoe? No, right? And I think it's all about presentation and what your audience wants. So it's just
it's funny because like when I think back to the time when I was still stuck in my job, anyone that wasn't stuck in a job, their life was exciting to me. Like,
exactly.
And I think that's where we underestimate how much people actually connect with us when they see what our life is like. And particularly when you're in the course space, if you have achieved something that other people want, and the course that you are selling helps them to get there, showing them the end result and that it really is possible makes a huge difference. Like, I told someone in a group a little while ago that they didn't believe that you could start out as a virtual assistant, actually earn enough money to pay your bills. And I'm like, well, I did it. Do you want to go see my bank statement? Like, seriously. And they just kept saying, no, it's all lies and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, actually, you can go back through my Instagram. Like, you'd see every single thing that happened along the way. Like, it is right there for you to see. So you're kind of showing your audience where you can get them to. So I think that really helps it helps them to connect with that end result. And then if something that you are selling helps them to get that same end result, that's interesting, right? We don't think it's interesting.
Absolutely. Yep. And that was the point I was going to make. And this is really important. If we see what Russell does with his amazing, huge backyard and the crazy trampolines and the wrestling thing and he shows that he has made enough money to afford all that jazz, to afford all that luxury, and that shit works. I mean, if he has made a lot of money, if I follow him, I'll make a lot of money too. And that is exactly what I'm doing with my followers too. And that is exactly what you should be doing with your followers too. Maybe if you're a copywriter and you think you don't have anything good to say, maybe show them what the business has provided to you. Show them the results that your clients are getting because of what you're doing. Show them the kind of life you're living because of this business. I show them how I travel. I don't even shy away from sharing luxury stuff or stuff that I buy that are expensive, and I don't care what people think. I mean, if I am making the money that is affording me nice things and nice travels, I think I absolutely should share it with my audience so they can know that, okay, if she's doing something and is able to afford that, maybe I can do it too, and maybe I can live that life too. So exactly, and that is why I love Instagram.
And I think, so we've got the pictures in place. We've asked people what they want to know more about. What do we need to pay attention to when we're writing captions? Short ones?
Yeah.
Long ones? What do we do?
Yeah, because I think that is the most scary part. The pictures and stuff can be managed, but captions are like, oh my god, what do I write? And honestly, even I struggle with it, even though I've reached 10K. And I'm pretty sure even the larger influencers struggle with it. Because usually we don't do brand deals. Actually, I never intend to do brand deals. So whatever content I write is to sell my own stuff and not anyone else's stuff. So I share a bunch of things. So long and short is something I usually write 3 to 4 long captions a week and 2 to 3 small ones. Like usually the travel ones, I just share a couple of lines, something interesting that happened over there and stuff like that. But whenever I have something really good, a really good business lesson to say, I write a long caption. So with captions, I think you guys should go ahead and look at my profile and see what kind of captions I write. My profile is I_am_Roota. So, but a few examples are like, I usually post stuff or ask questions like, what is the scariest thing you have done? And I kind of share my experience of doing skydiving. So kind of it makes me, so they feel like, oh my god, she's really cool. And maybe, I want to do that too. And they share stuff. So asking questions is always a good way to engage with people. And then I share my, so one day I was not feeling really good and I told them that, okay, business is not what it looks like, all the behind the scenes, and it's just all of the ups and downs. And any person who tells you that, it's really amazing and beaches and travel and mojitos is lying to you. So all of those things. So basically, what I work with is shattering the objections that people have in their mind. And I know Russell talks about them and you know about that too. But not just in emails and webinars and funnels, also in your Instagram captions, use that storytelling and use that objection crushing. Like, what are the objections that people have before buying from me? Like, if people think this is like a get rich quick scheme, or if people think that this will not work for me. So kind of tell stories of when you were at their stage. Like, I tell them 2 years ago I was scared, I was exactly where you were, stuck in a corporate job and wanting to do something of my own. I knew how you guys felt. And I think Lady Boss does an amazing job of doing that. She's super lean, she lost all that weight, and she has won IFBB Pro, something like that competition. And she still talks about stuff that she was feeling 2 years ago. Like, I was fat and I was eating and I had no energy and I was lazy and I was not motivated. So all the stuff, she's super fit now, but she was not 2 years ago, and she's still referencing to that. So she can connect with her audience and, still sell them stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's that level of connection, right? Because people feel like I am like one of the most normal, boring people you're going to come across. And I have people messaging me on Facebook and they're like, oh my god, thank you so much for getting back to me and replying to my message. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like just a normal person that like replies to their messages like anyone else. But, it's those things where when you are available and when you talk to people and when you share things with them, it gives you that level of connection that you're not going to get from just posting. Sticking stuff on a Facebook page is like now like the most pointless thing to do if you're trying to get people to talk to you. So
yeah,
that's where Instagram, it feels so much more personal. Like, I've done so many, and one of the things I know people have always said is like, I've always got the kids with me. And I'm like, yeah, that's a decision that you have to make for yourself on whether or not they end up on Instagram. But in my life, I can't help it. Like, sometimes I have the baby with me. Sometimes the baby is the reason for for talking about something in a story, because I'm like, this is what business is like when you've slept 3 hours, but you've still got to get the job done, right? So
yeah.
these are all things that don't stop you from being active on Instagram, right? They're part of our lives. So, you know, how do you have any tips for people to embrace the possibility of chaos, children, this, that, and the other, and still make an impact for people? How can we get this out of our mind that this is a stumbling block? I cannot do this because I have the kids with me. I cannot do this because I don't mentally feel very good today. Or, you know, how can we get over this?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And I know a lot of moms suffer with it. That OMG, Instagram is for like travel bloggers and beauty bloggers, and like we have
bodies.
I know. So then what are we supposed to do? And I think this is amazing, because if your audience is moms, and you know, people who can relate to you, and so maybe if I have kids, I will start attracting more moms, because they'll see, OMG, she's managing a baby and, you know, having time to play with her and still running a business. She's a film badass. OMG, that she's amazing. And I love how Emily Hirsch also does that.
Yeah.
She also always posts stories of behind the scenes with her kids, and she kind of takes this angle that I'm running my business, I had a team call, and those stories are there, and she's traveling to conferences, but she also has time to play with her babies, and people who can buy from you are babies, not that babies. People who buy from you are not babies. People who buy from you, if they are moms, they will be so amazed and they will be so relatable to you, and that is the crux of a sale, isn't it? Connecting and emotionally connecting and liking that. Oh my God, if she's handling it and she's doing so well, I can do it too. And, you know, maybe you can encourage others to be more open and share more of their lives too.
Yeah, and particularly, like, as mums, like, the mum life, like, sometimes it's just a joke. So actually getting out there and being like, you have no idea, like, my child just, like, vomited on my laptop. Like, these are just things where you're like, no one's going to believe this. It actually gives people a laugh. And we are hiding it away because we're thinking, you know what? Like, nobody needs to see this. And I'm like, well, actually, you know what? This, like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that could have been me. Who's that person? It's like, I just got to tell them that I hope that their day gets better, and suddenly you're connecting. So, okay, so we know what pictures we're posting. We know that we are not boring. What is boring to us is not boring to other people. We know that sometimes we write longer captions and sometimes we write shorter ones. They have a different purpose. What do you think? Are there any mistakes that you see people make over and over when they set up their account? Is there anything that they do or don't do? Like, any tips there? When, you know, you're first getting started, you haven't really used Instagram, what's the first 3 things we need to do?
Yeah, and this is really important, because this is how you get started, and it's important to get started right. So I would actually start with a business account and not a personal one. But if you're like, OMG, I have a personal account, but you can easily switch to a business account in settings. And why you should do that is because the business accounts get a lot of insights, like who is watching your stories, when are they watching, where are your followers based, what's their age, gender, city, country, what is the time they are online, and all of this amazing analytics that you get when you are on your business profile. So absolutely do the business profile, and you know, the reach of business profile is not lesser than personal accounts, and Instagram just confirmed that, so no need to worry about that also. Number 1 thing is that. Number 2 thing is, have your profile picture as a nice smiling person who is professional, because you can use one of your professional photo shoot pictures and edit it a little bit, make it bright, color popping, so your profile can stand out. So a really nice picture of you. And if you have like no photo shoot pictures, just grab a cell phone and, you know, take a really nice selfie, edit it. A couple of apps that I like to use are Facetune to, you know, put some, you know, remove the stuff which you don't like blemishes and stuff like that. And there's another, app called Color Story, which I really, really love, because it gives this amazing Instagram feel of light, airy, bright, and a lot of filters are there too, which you can buy if you want. So I really, really love, that. So number 2 is profile picture. Number 3 is your bio, which is the most important. Tell what you do and how you can help your audience, and not like some random stuff which people don't care. So how your audience learns from you, like what can they expect from you. If you have a lot of social authority, if you're an author, if you just got published in entrepreneur.com, if you just spoke at a TEDx event, mention that, because that raises your social authority and kind of makes people intrigued, like, oh, this person is cool, let me follow them. So anything cool that you've done, how you help people with, include that in your bio. Use emojis, because that sounds a lot of colorful. And then if you go to your bio from your desktop to your Instagram profile, go to you can change your bio and make it like different lines for each subtopic. So then that's really good. Otherwise it appears like a big chunk of text. So you can do that. So yeah, those are the top 3 things I would take care of when I get started. And of course, make a really nice profile bio link. Send them to your funnel, send them to your something else offer, and make sure to actually grab their email IDs. And that's what I do actually. I send people to my Instagram, but then I also, send them to my funnel so that I can grab their email IDs and do all the funnel things and email marketing things to them.
So if you're a service provider, I know also you can integrate Acuity now to have a book button for your calendar directly on your Instagram profile. So I've done that. Other than that, would you say freebie is the best place to send them? If you have a freebie that you know is super popular for your audience, would you send them there with your bio link? Because as a service provider, really, you are aiming to either get them on your email list or get them to book a call with you. And that's really it. If you're not selling courses or info products, then you might not have anything like a webinar set up to send them to or anything like that, although you technically could. But
yeah, so it depends on what you want to sell to that audience that you're growing. So if you currently don't have any info products, then obviously you can't send them there. So you can just send them to like your website, or as you said, for your Acuity form to book the direct call, or to your services page. That is good for service providers, but I feel like Instagram is kind of really good for info products and courses and actually launching, which is what I did. After I started going my Instagram, I kind of did my beta for my course, got students in, had them pay for it, and so I think Instagram is the best for courses. For clients, I feel like, of course, people who follow you, like you, can get services, but I think Facebook is still the best for getting clients. So if I was doing Instagram, I would really focus on infra products. And if you don't have, maybe Instagram that audience can actually tell you what they like, and you don't launch to crickets because you ask them. And this is what is really amazing, and I want to talk about that, because when I recently launched, I got so many messages of people who were curious about what I was doing, and I chatted with them so much over the Instagram DM, because I wanted to know what the problems they were facing, did a lot of market research, and totally did the grassroots kind of market research, which we don't do. Kind of which Russell mentions in Expert Secrets when you want to launch a course. So Instagram was kind of, I totally pulled off an Expert Secrets launch on Instagram without any funnel, webinars, emails, or stuff like that, because I totally went ahead, talked to people what their problem was, and then gave them a solution, convinced them to buy it, and so about 17 people bought, and they didn't know I existed 15 days ago. Okay, without any funnel or any email marketing.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful for like one-on-one connection, especially when you are launching something new, to do market research and kind of get beta students rolling. So even if you're a service provider and are looking to actually create a course, which I know everyone advises us to do, this might be your opportunity to grow your Instagram and sell courses.
Yeah. So you just basically reached out to people and said, hey, what do you want to know about this? And then they messaged you in reply to your story.
No, so because I was running ads to my Instagram profile, a lot of people were curious about what I wanted to teach them. So they messaged me, they approached me. I didn't message anyone, I was just responding to them. But I kind of shifted the conversation. Like they approached me, so kind of they want something from me. So I'm not the desperate one. So now I then asked them like, hey, this is how I can help you. What are your problems and stuff like that. And then I gave them a solution, which is my course, and which they then ended up buying.
Yeah. No, that's really good, because at the end of the day, it's like you're saying, they contacted you. If they're reaching out, you have something they need, and they know you have something they need. And I think we often forget about that, because there's still so much going on where people are like, hey, ooh, I don't want to sell anything to anyone. But that is a serious problem, because at the end of the day, there's people out there that need your help. And unless you tell them you can help them, unless you sell them your solution, who's going to help them? Possibly nobody. They're just going to keep wandering around, or they're going to go to somebody that's not actually even interested in seriously helping them. They just go to somebody that's going to sell to them, take their money, and then just leave them to it. So, like, I often almost say, like, feel like you are rescuing people from buying from somebody that doesn't care about them. Like, go and sell them something.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think, people think sales is icky, but you should not think of sales as being salesy or icky. You should think about how you're actually helping people, be better at lives, achieving their goals.
Yeah. So if you're planning, if you were to plan launching Be Your Own Boss again, and would you be relying again to a high level on Instagram?
Absolutely, and I am doing that. I just posted something about, so here's the thing. I love having fun with Instagram. So I just recorded my webinar today, about selling kind of, finally, oh my God, after a month. So I finally recorded my webinar, and I'm converting into a webinar funnel. And then I teased my Instagram audience that something amazing is coming, to stay tuned. And on the next story, I actually asked them who is excited to see, and then I used there's another version of the poll button, but with emojis, the slider emoji. So that kind of increases the intrigue, the mystery, OMG, what's coming, to kind of prime them up. And this is pre-framing. So even though now I'm sending them to a webinar, I'm pre-framing, I'm using that and being real with them and kind of raising all this interest and asking them in the poll. And Instagram loves when people respond, whether they reply or comment or message or reply to the poll. So kind of increasing my clout there too. So, I think Instagram is amazing for announcing something big, mysterious, and kind of everyone is on their toes, and then you do the huge thing. And I didn't mention this, but Instagram Lives played a huge role when I was solely relying on Instagram, because I didn't do webinars, but I also did like a lot of lives, a lot of Q&A, hung out with a lot of them, answer all of their questions, which is really, really good for at the start, again, because knowing people, doing market research, and stuff like that. So I don't do as much lives now, but when I'm launching, I'm going to do a lot of Instagram lives.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna launch this program again, I'm going to mainly use Instagram, do you plan, like, have you thought about exactly, right, once that webinar is recorded and it's going to be live, I'm going to spend this amount of time like teasing people, generating excitement, and then I'm going to do this, and then next I'm going to do that, and then do you have that all planned out, like right from day one, or do you think it kind of, you get more ideas as people respond to it?
Yeah, I think both, because I do have like a vague idea of what I'm going to do. And I think I'll have more info when I actually implement this, a kind of Instagram plus traditional webinar launch. But I'm pretty clear of what I want to do, which is that once I attach the webinar, it's an auto webinar, and the entire email sequence will take place. There's a deadline funnel. Yeah. So it has a launch on its own of different person. So that every time I'm sending people, I'm just going to send them to the webinar. Before I was sending them to the YouTube, the blog, the sales page, so stuff like that. So now everyone who comes in, so first of all, obviously my profile bio, which is now pointing to my sales page, to a buy button, will now point to my webinar funnel. So everyone who is new, who is following me, will sign up, so I will get leads. And obviously if they buy, that is amazing, and I know people are gonna buy because I think webinars work. but we'll see how soon or later, that is to be said. But and then every time in my Instagram, the actual post that I do, I will be pointing out that I created this new training. Like I would say something normal on my captions, and at the end I would say go to the link in my bio to watch my free training, because everyone loves a free training.
Yeah.
So I would still not play around and be salesy all the time, but say what I need to say in the caption. At the end I can just put that in.
Yeah.
So people can be always redirected to the webinar.
Yeah. I think it makes it so much easier once you have that one entry point, because you don't constantly have to think, okay, well, what do I promote this week? What do I promote that week? So yeah, I think that's really important. So how else? So you said you've used the polls and Instagram stories and people responded well to those. How else do you think you can make your Instagram stories exciting? Like, I mean, I watch some and I think, oh, that was actually entertaining. And then I have others where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like dying of boredom watching this. So what makes an Instagram story like really exciting, keeping people's attention, and what makes people kind of disappear quicker than you would like them to?
Yeah, so I think I do monitor my story stats when that happens, when I feel like a lot of people are not watching about something, and people, I know like what my normal stats are if my story is getting lesser views than that, because this tells me that some people didn't choose to watch it, so Instagram is showing this to lesser people, kind of. So it tells me that, okay, what kind of content is doing well, what kind of is not. And I really can't say for all the niches, but I would say find a few people in your niche who are doing exactly what you're doing and see how they're using stories and see what's working for them. If they're doing it again and again, obviously they're not stupid and something is working. So kind of model on them, not mimic them. Like some of the things, this is not like, he's not an entrepreneur. So there's one guy called Jeff Mittal. So he's like an LA based photographer, and he and his wife kind of own a blogger and studio DIY. So they post a lot about their kid and they make it really funny, and it is so exciting to follow that kid. OMG. I always crack up when I see that. So I don't learn anything entrepreneurial from him, but I do know how to be funny in stories using kids. But he's also funny other than his kid, so kind of learning little bits of stuff which you like, learning from them and implement a little bit always helps.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. Like, we forget about humor sometimes, but like humor goes a long way. Like I don't know.
It's instant liking.
I don't know how many instead of writing my book, I got sucked into trying out Matt's dad jokes the other night, and I was like, well, that dad joke was well funny. I'm going to press that button again. So I don't know if he's even released that thing into the public yet. I need to ask him, but like, how funny was that? Like something that generates dad jokes and sends them to you. I'm like, right, I need a laugh right now. So I was like, for every chapter I'm going to complete in my book, I'm just going to get like 10 dad jokes and just have a laugh. So humor, it opens people up, and it really softens. Sometimes we get so stuck into all the negativity around us, like negative stuff on the news, stress at home, it's not always easy. And then to have someone that actually outright makes you laugh, it really changes your mindset. And if they then go and sell you something after that, I swear people respond to it so much better than if you hadn't kind of warmed them up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely check that out, because I have a child that could be well funny. So if I can use humor, like I'd be like totally game for
yes.
I'll be like, right, child, sit there.
So totally use your kids to sell your stuff. I mean, obviously, what else are kids for, right?
Totally, I'm totally advocating that here. But we'll have to worry, but once they're 15, they'll be like, Mom, I can't believe this is on the internet. Like, what on earth have you been doing? Oh, sorry. Like, we'll get it taken off now, GDPR and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just something that you have to decide, what you're comfortable with sharing and what you're not comfortable with sharing.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah,
Yes.
if you're looking for humor, like children are usually an easy bet. So I would definitely use them, like no shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, so definitely I like that. What are your favorite apps? Like, which apps does Roota use on her phone to like manage her Instagram? So you mentioned later.com.
Yeah, I actually use the desktop, but they do also have a phone app. But I love working on desktop more than phone
Yeah.
because it's so small and so clunky. I can't do.
Yeah.
So like their app has no problem. It's just I love working on desktop, so I can upload easily all of my pictures over there on later.com and schedule it and write all the captions and do all the hashtags in there. So later.com for sure you can use the app or the desktop version. In terms of editing apps, as I said before, I love Facetune and Color Story, and Visco is another which people love to use. And then, yeah, I think these are the ones that I usually use for editing Instagram pictures, making them bright. And then one app is for video. So basically, if you want record a video and if you want to like have bars on the top or have text on the top or bottom, then InShot is a really good app that you can do, and I really used it. So when you're creating videos, it's really helpful to have like a few words, kind of why people should watch.
Yeah.
So
That one I like. I hadn't heard of that one, so I'm going to check that out. So, that new Instagram TV. What is it? How does it work? How do we get our videos onto it? Do we need to pay attention to anything in particular?
absolutely. I think IGTV is amazing because Instagram had so Instagram had a limit of 1 minute videos before, and now it lets you upload up to 1 hour of content. Like it's not rolled out to all the accounts. I think I can upload up to 10 minutes. So I think that's what major users would be having too. So you can actually, if you see your messages icon on the top right, just near that there's a new IGTV icon. You can go ahead and upload from there, or there's a new IGTV app that you can download. But of course, make sure that you update your Instagram to get all the new features. And here's another tip too: keep updating your Instagram once every week or twice a week, because Instagram keeps releasing new features all the time. Like they just released Instagram Music, which is not available in my country, and I'm really pissed off about that. But they do have Instagram Music released to other countries. So yeah.
Awesome. Can you upload those things to Instagram TV only from your phone, or can you upload from your desktop as well?
Yeah, for the desktop, no, not yet. So they just released it. I don't think they have any APIs for that, so that other third-party apps could have, integrated. It will come later, but for now, it's just via phone.
Awesome. One thing we haven't talked about yet that goes with our captions and our pictures and always confuses people is those dang hashtags.
Yeah.
So we know we need
that
them.
is kind of the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most important thing, and a few tips